Hello again from my front porch. This past weekend, we had Thanksgiving with my family over in Carroll, and we did Thanksgiving actually on Thanksgiving. But then I hung around in Carroll on Friday, did some work for my hotel room, and then that night we got together and did karaoke in Carroll, which, you know, my family, of course, loves to do. I'm not the only one. All my siblings, we all enjoy doing that, and we had a good time. But one of the songs that I sang was a song that may not be a traditional karaoke song, but I enjoyed giving it a shot. I enjoyed trying it. It was the song "From Now On" that Hugh Jackman sings in the movie The Greatest Showman, when the fictionalized life of P.T. Barnum. You know, I like the movie The Greatest Showman. My daughter finally made me watch it several months ago. I didn't watch it. I didn't go see it when it first came out, but she made me watch it on video, and it was very good. But honestly, for me, I thought that the most powerful rendition of the song is one that Hugh Jackman performed in sort of a rehearsal or the sales pitch meeting, if you will, for the movie. And I'm going to include a link to the video that I'm about to allude to in the comments area here. But because if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. Whether you've seen the movie or not doesn't matter. But here's the story. Hugh Jackman, in order to do a movie like that, in order to do a movie with that kind of money and everything, they have to get a whole bunch of people to sign off on that, and they have to have meetings and let them see what it is and let them get a feel for that. And this movie was no different. And so they arranged. There's this video on YouTube that'll let you can go watch it in context. You can find out that I'm not making any of this up. But so there's Hugh Jackman, the director of the movie, and they're talking. They're saying, okay, so it took them 8 months to get all the schedules coordinated for everybody that needed to be there, to get them all in the same room at this place in New York where they were going to pitch him the movie, and that pitch involved members of the cast reading through the dialogue, the lines, getting the choir folks together, some musician folks, and performing the songs or reasonable facsimile of the songs, so that the studio people and the other powers that be, they could all get a sense for what this is. And so of course Hugh Jackman is going to be there, and he's going to be reading his parts and singing the songs. Well, They arrange this meeting. It takes them 8 months to get all these people in the room. And then Hugh Jackman calls the director the day before and says, hey, guess what? I'm not going to be able to sing. The director's like, what? Why not? Well, apparently he had a cancer removed from his nose, and he's got 80 stitches that his doctor has said, until that's healed up, you can't sing. And he's like, okay. So he tells the director's like, you haven't told anybody, have you? And he's like, well, no. He's okay, good, because all these people are not coming to New York to not hear Hugh Jackman sing a musical. So we'll tell them when everybody's there in the room. We'll drop it on them. And so they did that. And so what happened was Hugh Jackman is there, and there's some other guy who is there to sing the parts. Hugh Jackman's still going to read the lines and dialogue, and he'll go through the actions and the motions and all this stuff. But this other guy is singing the parts that Hugh will actually sing in the movie. And they explain this. Not the ideal situation, of course, but it's doable. So they explain this. Well, this seems to go fine, apparently, until they get to the song "From Now On." Now, I'm going to now veer from fact and into Paul's own interpretation. Because in watching this video, and personally, I think Hugh Jackman's performance of the song "From Now On" is more powerful in this video than it was in the movie itself. Because in this video, you watch Hugh Jackman, and I'm going to try to insert a little bit of the video here. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that, because I'm not trying to break any copyright. I'm actually bragging on what it is and encouraging you to go watch the full thing. But when you watch this pre-movie video, this pitch meeting, rehearsal, whatever you want to call it, when you watch Hugh Jackman's expression, they go through the first part of the lyrics, and if you're not familiar with the song, it starts with, I saw the sun begin to dim and felt that winter wind blow cold. A man learns who is there for him when the glitter fades and the walls won't hold. 'Cause from that rubble, what remains can only be what's true. If all was lost, there's more I gained, 'cause it led me back to you. Now in the movie, P.T. Barnum is singing that to the freaks, his sideshow people that he built his income and reputation on, that he sort of marginalized and pushed aside as he started to pursue other things, because his reputation grew big and he got lofty and he got big. Well, then he gets to a point where in the movie, literally everything collapses. I mean, his venue where his show has been, it catches fire, burns to the ground. This other big thing he's doing, not only does it blow up, but it implodes and it destroys his reputation process and causes him to lose his wife and his kids, that they leave him. And so he's literally destitute with nothing, no one, sitting on his own. And then he finds that his family, the members of his circus entourage, they show up to be there with him. And they're not there because they're like, oh, they're there. They're there to challenge him, to say, okay, so life sucks. Life did this to you. What are you going to do about it, P.T. Barnum? What are you going to do to get all of us back to where we belong? They're challenging him. And so that's what he's singing. And then he's out from that rubble, what remains, and you can tell who's with you. A man can tell who's there for him when the glitter fades and the walls won't hold. But then he says, because of all of that, if he's lost that, he's gained more because it led him back to you, where he's recognizing these are the people that are with him. And watching Hugh Jackman while this is taking place is really interesting, because then the chorus goes on into, from now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. Tonight, let this promise in me start, like an anthem in my heart. From now on, from now on. Okay, and so it's a little softer, a little quieter, but then it's at that point that you see Hugh Jackman, as that chorus is going on, he starts to kind of pace a bit like he's a lion in a cage, and then it's like he just can't hold it in anymore. It's just as I think he's thinking about the next set of lyrics, and I think those next set of lyrics really spoke to him. And my gut tells me this song is a main reason Hugh Jackman even did the movie. I mean, I probably embraced the whole story of P.T. Barnum, but this song and the lyrics of this song spoke to him in a way that I think resonated with him, because Hugh Jackman himself wasn't always a big name celebrity till he got his big break. And he knows what it's like to be lauded and celebrated and all this stuff, but he also knows what it's like to lose and to be without, and he can appreciate what it means to really hold on to what is dear. And so then, that being the case, the next set of words that come along when it begins to ramp up is, I drank champagne with kings and queens, politicians praised my name. Without the music, it's hard to do this. I drank champagne with kings and queens, politicians praised my name, but those were someone else's dreams, the pitfalls of the man I became. For years and years I chased their cheers, the crazy speed of always needing more. But when I stop and see you here, I'm reminded of who it was for. Okay, so now I didn't go, Hugh Jackman actually goes up even higher than that. I'm not doing that here. Could hurt myself doing that. But the point is, you listen to those lyrics. That lyrics, he talks about being down and out, and you find out who's with you. But then it's like he turns the clock back about how, I was somebody. I was celebrated. People lauded me. Yeah, I was great. But there's a point where he recognizes that P.T. Barnum in the movie recognizes that, you know what? That was crazy. Why was I pursuing all of that? That wasn't what was really important to me. And what was really important to me is what I've now lost. And I need to get that back because that's what needs to happen. And from now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. And so he's making that declaration. I believe that Hugh Jackman heard those lyrics. I believe Hugh Jackman identified. I think he did. And my rationale for that is the little piece that I'm going to slip in here of Hugh Jackman in this video, where you see, because again, his doctor says, you can't sing, don't sing. He tells their director, God goes to all this room full of executives, you can't. And yet, when that set of words is coming up, Hugh Jackman can't hold it in. He's got to sing. He can't help himself. Watch this.
From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. Starts tonight. Let this promise in me start like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. I drink champagne, kings and queens, politicians praise my name. Those are someone else's dreams. Live on the man I became. For years and years, I chased their cheers. Crazy speed, I've always needed more. But when I stop and see you here, oh, I remember who I am.
See, every time it's like watching It's a Wonderful Life and getting to the end where, all the people are flooding into the room and dumping the money on the table. And then finally his brother comes in and toasts him and says, to my brother, George Bailey, the richest man in town. Even now I say that, it makes me a little choked up. but I get that way about this video with Hugh Jackman. And I realized the reason I get that way with this video with Hugh Jackman is because I identify with it too. I sit back and I think, you know what? There was a time when I was really quite the hotshot. Now I know some of you probably still think I am, but hold on. I mean, professionally, politically, I was looking out for myself. There was a period of time I went through where I thought I was all that in a bag of chips, and I really wasn't. And in hindsight, but I thought I was pretty cool. I thought I had it together, and then life smacked me down a couple of times. And of course, most recently was the year in which not only did my position at principal get eliminated, and then also my wife got laid off from her job at Wells Fargo. And so we're both looking for positions. But then, I tried starting a consulting business during that year. And, it's really tough your first year. And it was also during that year that we had our big come to Jesus conversation, and my marriage ended because she wanted to go a different route. And so that was for me what the parallel to what P.T. Barnum experiences in this movie. That point where literally everything, for me personally, my professional life, my personal life, I mean, it was all collapsing around me. It was all, which way is up? And now it's interesting to look back now, because now I think my personal life is in a good place. And my professional life is probably the best place it's ever been. It's like a phoenix rising out of the ashes in that sense. But I sit back now and I don't have that cockiness. Look at me now. No. Instead, I find myself appreciating the value, the blessing of what I have. That it's it's interesting. Now, some of that I think comes with maturity as well. I don't think there's a question about that. But that being said, I know a lot of people older than me who haven't got it yet, who don't understand that. So it's not completely just by age as well. I think there's a lot to be said for having some success and then getting smacked down and having to eat a little dirt, and then you get yourself up and you dust yourself off and you're determined to move on, and then you achieve success again. And then when that happens, you sit back and you say, you know what? I understand now. I understand that this isn't just about me. This is about everybody around me. And so that, I think that's why the song I really like, but I think that's why I can identify with Hugh Jackman's reaction to the song that caused him to break his doctor's orders. And when you watch the whole video, you see he cuts loose. He just belts out. He's hitting the high notes. He's moving around. And a couple of times he does this to the side of the nose because he's ripped open stitches. Fortunately, he was obviously able to get it fixed, and he was a good boy, and he was able to actually do the movie, and he's still able to sing now and all that kind of stuff. But I can appreciate why he was driven to do that. I really can. And I enjoyed singing it then at the family karaoke, not to show off, because that could be a show off song. But I enjoyed singing it because for me, it was that opportunity for me to acknowledge to my siblings and to my mom and to my family that there was a time where I may have thought I was something, but my life was in rubble, and you all were there. And from now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. And that, yes, there was a time where I drank champagne with kings and queens and politicians praised my name. But those were someone else's dreams. The pitfalls of the man I became. Not the man I wanted to be. Not the man I was meant to be. The man I was meant to be is the man I am today, who's enjoying the fruits of his labors, but also not taking himself too seriously and not being too smug about it, shall we say. I am proud of what I've been able to achieve. The book I've written, the job I've got, the speaking opportunities that I get to do. I feel so much more comfortable in my own skin as myself, as an individual than I have probably at any other time in my life. So personally and professionally, I feel like I am probably in about as good a place as I have ever been in my entire life. But in spite of how wonderful it all is, I look around and I recognize I'm here because of all the other people around me. It takes a village to raise an idiot like this. No, but seriously, that song has come to mean a lot to me as well. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm inferring. Maybe I'm projecting my feelings onto Hugh Jackman. But I don't think so. I think I'm reading him correctly too. That both of us would agree that from now on, and with that, I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.